It's time for another tale from the glass-guarded world, with Brian as Paxton the human cleric and fighter, Danielle as Ethelflad the halfling rogue and monk, Ashley as Tara Dane the human fighter, Chris as Aster Fortuna the half-elf rogue and bard, and me, Mike, as the DM. We are nearing the end of the first part of our story. There are probably 5 episodes left in Season 1 after this episode. Then we'll do a recap episode, and we'll also talk about what we liked and didn't like about the game so far and answer any listener questions. That means this is a good time for listeners to send in any questions, so get in touch with us on Twitter. We are at TFTGGW. You can also contact us using email at tftggw@gmail.com or at facebook.com/Tales from the Glass Guarded World. That's all one word. Facebook.com/Tales from the Glass Guarded World. If you have questions about the characters, the world, the story, or even, within limits, the players, let us know. We'd also appreciate reviews of the podcast on Stitcher or Apple Podcasts, as it helps other people find the show. As for the story, after a brief conversation with Carlton the Cruel, the adventurers are ready to talk to Mun the Immortal about everything they have learned. About the truths of foresight, the soul jar, and what they think they might have to do next. Alright, get out.
Bye.
You're welcome.
Alright, the zombie says, bye,
Bye.
and closes the door behind you.
Man, Carlton is cruel.
Yeah, that's probably how I got that name.
I didn't know about that.
You're
Yeah.
friends with such a interesting individual.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd
heebie-jeebies.
say friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
He seems resourceful.
Acquaintances.
I feel a little disturbed that he gave me this book. We now have 2 books that we haven't used at all.
What's the other one?
It's the one that makes you more charismatic and the one now that makes you smarter, which I assume is for intelligence. In disgust, I hand this tome to Paxton.
Did he say this makes you smarter?
Yeah, but like I'm smart.
Yeah.
So when you open the tome, the book is, I take it, enchanted.
Yes.
For those who touch the book, read from the book.
Sorry, Paxton. I'm not saying that you're not smart. I'm just saying that like you're doing the magey stuff now, and I just want to
Yeah.
help you out.
Yeah, I mean, I like to read.
Yeah.
I heard that there's a book of charisma that one of you might have. I could benefit from that if nobody wants it.
So the way it works is if you spend 48 hours over a period of 6 days or fewer studying the book's contents and practicing its guidelines, your intelligence or your charisma or whatever the book does increases by 2, as does your maximum for that score. So basically you get +2 intelligence or +2 charisma, which would give you a bonus of, you would increase your bonus from that stat by 1.
Mm-hmm. So just to clarify, no one else wants this book of intelligence. You're all cool with me having
You
it?
can
Yeah,
have
no, you
all
can
the
have it.
clear thought you want.
Yeah, I'm
What about the charisma book?
What was it? How to win friends? And
Yeah, so I'm digging through Finn's backpack and I'm like, I know it's in here somewhere.
I don't know that Aster needs any more charisma, but here you go.
Yeah, here it is. How to win allies and influence humanoids.
All right.
I
Yeah.
think my lack of charisma kind of flavors the dialogue
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna do me much good. I'm a lost cause. So have at it, buddy.
Ha
Tara also feels she does not need help with charisma.
Maybe I have such a lack of charisma that I think I'm very charismatic. Just fumble all over myself.
You're actually super charismatic.
So is this called the Tome of Clear Mind?
Tome of Clear Thought.
Tome of Clear Thought.
How to influence friends.
allies.
Thank you.
How to win allies and influence humanoids. Last time, I think you guys camped outside the city for the night. You doing that again? Or do you want to go to the inn?
I think we camped out last time because we had that zombie with us.
Oh, right.
yeah.
Well, we also have Bud and Bart.
I'd
Yeah.
say, I mean, I'm okay with camping outside if we have the horses. So,
We could sleep in
Me
the
too.
cart and just have Lumpen watch over for us.
yeah,
Okay.
that'll work. If he doesn't mind.
Nope.
Okay.
How far of a horse drive is it from Zauberfeld to Munville?
It's just a couple days.
Cool.
Yeah. I say we get going, and then when it's nighttime, we just sleep in the cart.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan to me. In fact, if we could just take turns driving and drive at night too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if you're going to... Okay, yeah, you could take shifts that way. All right, if you do that, let's say you're going to probably arrive in about a day and a half. So you'll arrive early in the morning you'll arrive in the morning of the 23rd of 8th month.
How does Munville look?
As you're beginning to approach, Munville is very busy. Soldiers are marching down the road towards Zauberfeld from the direction of Munville. You can see several columns of them walk by intermittently. Smoke from many fires is rising into the sky, and they're probably not all for warmth, although it is getting cooler. Some are campfires, and others are probably from smithies. The crops in the nearby fields are all being harvested and processed or stored in warehouses. Lumpen says, "I've never seen Munville so busy. I bet it's a lot of work to clean up after all this."
But that's not something you want to do, right?
No.
I don't want to clean all this up. No. Two soldiers in gleaming armor are standing outside Mun's tower as you pull up. What are you going to do with Bud and Bart?
Is there a stable in
Well,
town?
Mun has his own stable. You could try to see if you could stick them over there, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah,
We'll
let's
ask
do
the
that.
guards if they can stable.
So a large bell has been set up on a frame to the right of the guard, who is on the right of the door, and he demands, "Halt! Mun is only accepting visitors on the most important business."
We are.
Who are you?
Caradane.
Tara Dane. Anyone else?
And
Pat.
friends.
Yeah,
And friends.
in company.
The two guards look at each other. "You can go in," says the guard on the right, and he rings the bell loudly one time and then grabs the bell to silence it.
I go in.
All right, and
I ask them to stable our horses.
all right. One of the guards is going to take your horses and stable them. So you walk inside through the entry lobby and into the fancy meeting room.
I must say that was really easy.
Yep.
Just, who are you?
thought I was
I
gonna-
said my name.
Yep.
Tara
gonna
is
use my lack
obviously
of
the face
charisma.
of the team.
Right.
In her head, she is.
Yeah.
Apparently they were expecting you. And Aster, I guess for your sake, since you haven't been in here before, he's got a sort of a beautiful entry hall with some fancy paintings of a dashing-looking man. He's just sort of your style, right? An older man, older human. Beautiful gold candelabras with magical lights and wonderful dark wooden doors. And the rest of the party just walks right through as if they've been here before. They know where they're going. They walk into a room with a long, large table
Oh my
and a
god.
fancy chair.
So as we're walking there, I message to Aster. I say, his voice might sound really funny. Don't laugh at it.
Don't laugh.
Don't laugh.
Well, a man that has this kind of wonder deserves my respect. Also, it makes me a little twitchy, seeing all this
Sort of
fancy
scratch my
stuff.
head,
Yeah.
shrug my shoulders, and keep going.
All right, so the room is empty at the moment. Do you want to sit down, or what do you want to do?
Yes, I'll sit down.
All right, you sit at the large table. A few moments later, Mun comes in, again for Aster's sake. Mun appears to be an enormous suit of armor, wearing resplendent robes. And you can see between the seams in the armor what appear to be rope-like or plant-like, vine-like twisted things moving around to move the armor around. But the armor itself walks in and looks over the party and immediately looks at Aster and says, "Who's this?
He's our new friend.
Is he cool?"
He's cool.
He's cool.
I almost let out a little, ooh. But instead I go, huzzah! You are an imposing figure with a powerful voice to boot.
He's our new bard.
Okay. All right, then. Then I'll switch to my other, more comfortable voice.
Whoa.
So,
I wink at Aster and give him like a little nod.
welcome back. I'm glad you've returned. What have you found?
Well, we found the Truths of Foresight.
Really? It was just that simple. You simply walked up to the wall and there they were.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh. All right. Would it be too impatient of me to simply ask what they said?
No, I will absolutely tell you what they said.
Wonderful.
Where do we leave off? Number 4?
I think that's right.
Number 4 says, don't break the walls.
Right? Yes?
Number 5 is where we kind of wanted to come here. 'Cause it says, when it is time, shatter the soul jar. The liberated souls will know what to do. I might be paraphrasing.
He just stands there. Doesn't say anything. He's
we
just
weren't
staring
so
at you.
sure about going to do that.
You can't be serious.
That's what it said.
Yeah, we were just gonna go break it, but we figured we'd check with you first to make sure that that's cool.
Yeah.
Sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it said.
She's not making this up. You all saw this.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the other one was all like hippie stuff, like 6 is be kind and trade peacefully. Use magic and knowledge in moderation and for good.
And I chuckle.
And number 7 is know that I loved you all more than myself. I died so that you may live. So, I mean, shatter the soul jar.
Well,
This is
that
pretty
would
much all we
make
got.
sense.
Oh, it does?
Well, people used to believe in him a great deal, very persistently. I was always skeptical, but now the wall, this writing is saying that he's dead.
Oh. Yeah,
That's interesting.
Although if
Well-
he died, how'd he write that truth?
Maybe he wrote it before he killed himself, or whatever.
Yeah. So what do you think this deal with the soul jar is?
I
What-
confess that I do not know.
Well, you sent us to go look at these truths for a reason, I assume. You know a lot that you're not telling us.
I thought that whatever it said would be more straightforward and would make more sense, but I was not expecting that.
I mean, it seems pretty straightforward.
Well, I suppose in that sense it does, yes, but I mean, whether it's a good idea or not, I don't think that is straightforward.
Do you think the souls in the soul jar are malicious?
I don't know. On the one hand, they are simply the souls of the people that you have known, and those people wouldn't be malevolent or malicious unless they were in life. Yet I do not know what being imprisoned in the soul jar has done to them.
So you know a lot about the history of Foresight, I'm assuming, right?
I know more than most people, but they were a secretive cult, so I don't know everything.
So I hold out that chainbreaker amulet and I said, Carlton the Cruel said that the chainbreakers, or this symbol, is associated with Foresight. What do you think of that?
First of all, I didn't know that Carlton was so learned. But yes, I've seen this symbol associated with them before. Is there anything else? May I look at it?
Yeah, but before I give it to you, check this out. And then I plug the two pieces together and then it does the whole light show.
Wow, that's interesting. Why is it pointing toward you?
Sigbert seemed to be under the impression that it was probably pointing towards sources of divine power, but it seems to me like it's always pointing towards me in whichever the closest bubble is, Eastern or Western.
That's interesting. Anything else? What's on the other side? It's the side you just added.
Yeah, there's the chainbreaker symbol on the one side, and then I flip it over and show him the other side.
The eagle.
Yeah, the other
Yeah.
side is an eagle pierced by an arrow. He says, well, that's even more bizarre because I've seen that symbol associated with the Glassbreakers cult.
I show him Chainbreaker, and I say I explain what it does. That it deals extra damage when trying to break constraints. And I'm wondering if that would include the glass that's restraining all the souls.
Ah, that is an interesting idea. I suspect you would be correct. Did you find this in the same place that you found the amulet?
We did.
That is interesting. It doesn't mean that it's a good idea, but it seems that someone was prepared to break that jar. I honestly don't know how to advise you here. I am inclined not to break open ancient artifacts that have been here since the dawn of the world. Yet, I don't know if you realize the gravity of the situation we're all facing right now.
Okay, well, I was having a plan. I don't want people to see me break the soul jar. But if they see an Etten break the soul jar, I'm good.
That's an interesting idea.
That's why you're the face of the party, Tara.
That is very true.
Yes, I can see why you wouldn't want to be seen doing that. And yet, if you were to break it, depending on what would happen afterward, I suspect that it wouldn't matter too much. For example, if the souls come out and kill everyone, then it won't really matter if you are seen to have broken the soul jar.
That's true, but, you know.
We're doing this so everyone doesn't die, right?
Right. That's an important point to keep in mind here, is that if you don't do this, everyone might still die.
So that
Well,
truth
hold
of-
on. You were going on a mission to
That's right.
swim down to the bottom.
Yes.
What did you find there?
I was going to get to that. Yes, that was interesting and yet not terribly helpful. So one of the nice things about this body is that I can survive the enormous pressures under the water without being crushed. And what I found was that water seeps into the sand deep at the very bottom of the sea and is somehow sucked through, and through some clever experiments, if I do say so myself, we determined that the water is somehow sucked through the ground, filtered, and it comes back through the rivers. What we actually did was we used a large volume of magical liquid into this sand where the water was seeping through, and I had assistants stationed at the River Reliable and the Broken River. As they continually searched for traces of this magical liquid, eventually some came through both rivers. That is, the water is being cycled around.
So do we ever, when one river breaks, does the volume of the other rivers increase?
I think so. It is difficult to measure this precisely, but it does appear that the volume of water coming out through the other rivers does seem to increase to somewhat make up for that.
This might be too intelligent for Sarah. I apologize.
So no one's in... We're not in danger of the world having a massive drought all over. It's just that the areas adjacent to the broken rivers are going to experience a drought.
That's
but
right.
not everyone can live in a rival.
Yeah.
Right. Not only that, but as the Iron Empire tries to secure more sources of water and more resources in general, the other parts of the world will fight back. And what that means is a lot of spellcasting. And what that means is a great deal of heat. And I do not think the world can take a war of magic without baking.
Is there a way to cool the world off?
I don't know of one. The problem is that doing so would involve using magic, and that magic would itself create heat.
So the world's getting hotter because of the magic that people are using, right?
That's our suspicion, yes.
And do you think that that is independent of the rivers breaking, or do you think that the heating up is, like, hastened by the rivers breaking?
I do not know.
Because these may be two completely separate issues. Like, even if we fix the rivers,
Perhaps.
the world's still going to heat up if people are popping off fire bolts irresponsibly.
Yes, precisely.
Is there problems with flooding? Could it cause small...
We haven't
level
heard
floods?
anything about flooding from the River Reliable or the RDNL, but it is possible. We haven't heard anything about it, but it's possible that it's a gradual change, and therefore it hasn't caused anything noticeable yet. We don't know.
And
Yeah, because thinking about flooding too would affect crops even in the area that has an abundance of water.
Also, our efforts to pump water out of the sea into the aqueducts may have reduced water levels somewhat in those areas if they are getting more water. So it's possible that we are ourselves preventing that flooding.
Why doesn't the Iron Empire build aqueducts? They're dwarves.
Well, there are several reasons. One, that is not really their way that they like to solve problems. They like to take things, if they can. If they can take things, they will. Also, they're not ruled competently. Their ruler has something to prove, and this is his opportunity to do so.
They're jerks. Just so you know.
Well, have some sympathy for them. They're not all jerks, as you put it. Some of them are simply victims of their government's cruelty.
I don't know, man.
It's the emperor that seems like a jerk.
Epilema looked like she was about to throw us under that bus.
don't worry, I soiled her.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's just...
Don't ask.
It
Our
was
journeys.
hilarious.
Oh, okay. So, Mun.
Yes.
At this point, I'm not sure what we can do. We can take a gamble, and we can break the thing and see what happens, and hope it doesn't kill everybody. Or is there somewhere else where we can get some more information about what would happen?
I don't know of another source of information. What I was thinking your alternative was to, if you would join the armies fighting the Iron Empire, I suspect the four of you would be very helpful. You might be able to help push them back before things get out of control. Or perhaps there's some other kind of mission you could accomplish. But that, I suspect that would be a drop of water in a very large bucket. I am reluctant to tell you that you should go break the soul jar, because I frankly don't want that on my head. I don't want that on my conscience if it turns out to be a mistake, but I confess I don't have a better idea.
So don't break the soul jar, and I wink at him.
Yes, and one of his red glowing eyes sort of winks. Don't break the soul jar.
Do you happen to have any potions of invisibility?
Ah, what an intriguing suggestion. I would only give them to someone who is not going to do anything terribly dangerous, of course, but I probably could scrounge something together.
I really would enjoy those, and also, if you had any more Itten friends lying around, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, those are pretty great.
They are.
I have one more potion of Etten Friend. It seems to be very effective. You seem to like it very much, yes?
I've had 2 great experiences.
Perhaps I ought to be selling this to the army. Well, anyway, I'll see if I can find some potions of invisibility.
Yeah.
One moment, please.
Okay.
And he'll go upstairs.
Tara turns to everyone and says, I'm pretty ready to break this thing, but I also want to be invisible to escape afterwards.
That is a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he only has one potion of invisibility, does that mean that the three of us are going to watch as one of us runs in and smashes it?
I can become invisible
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean...
if
we've only got one of those Chainbreaker war picks too, though.
Yeah.
And it's an attuning item, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, he comes back down the stairs, opens the door, and says, well, I've got good news and bad news. I've got 2 potions of invisibility and 2 scrolls of invisibility. I don't have 4 potions.
Okay.
All 4 of those items are just one-shot ways to become invisible, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But you need someone who can use scrolls. I think Aster could probably use scrolls.
Can
I'm
a
not
bard
sure.
do that?
I'm not sure if they can. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
And would a
Asterisk,
Eldritch
yeah.
Knight be able to use them?
Again, I don't know. We'll have to look
okay.
it up. But in any case, this is what I have. Is there anything else I could do that would be helpful?
I've got some personal questions for you after we've got all the not breaking the soul jar stuff taken care of.
All right, Lumpen also says, yeah, I have questions too. Hey, he's hopping up and down below the level of the table.
I pick him up and put him on my shoulder.
He says, oh, I see you brought back the rag golem. He seems very impertinent now. Very well. What is your question? Lumpen says, yeah, I have been thinking and talking to Paxton, and I think that traveling with them is very dangerous, but I'd like to do more of it. But that means that I need to get better at not being easily destroyed. So I think I want to study magic with you. And Mun says, do you see what you've done? I warned you. I warned you this might happen. If he was set free from a master wizard, that he might develop a sense of independence and have his own objectives, and here it's come to pass. I can't believe it.
I like his independence.
Yeah. I don't see a problem with that.
He fit right into our group.
So you think it would be safe for me to train him?
I'm all in.
He's been great.
Really?
Yeah.
He saved us a couple times.
Yeah, he
Lumpen is
popped
one
off
of,
some fire bolts and really helped us a couple times.
Really?
Yeah.
and he's wise beyond his years.
Fibers.
I don't really understand arcane theory, but he seems to be some sort of living spell book.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Very well. I will take him under my wing and do my best to train him in proper wizardry.
How long will it take?
Oh, proper wizard training takes years for most
Oh.
students.
He could maybe use a bit of ethical guidance, because I think he's kind of struggling with some questions of good and evil. And I don't know, maybe you can give him some wise words. What do you
I
say?
will be glad to provide whatever guidance I can. I certainly don't want an evil construct running around casting dangerous spells.
That makes two of us.
Mm-hmm.
I hug Lumpen.
Yay!
I'm so proud of you.
Yay.
Thank you.
May I give you a handshake?
Kind of sad to say bye, but I love you, and I think you're all great.
We
We'll see
love
you
you too.
soon.
Yeah. Big group hug around Lumpkin. Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, so when do we start? Well, I suppose we could start right now. Is there anything else that the rest of you need?
have a
I have
question.
some Sorry, go ahead.
We might have been asking the same question. Why are you so sensitive about your fake voice?
Oh, well, that's quite straightforward. You see, when I was in my old body, I was stuck with that ridiculous voice, and unfortunately, when I changed my shape into this body, when I moved my soul into this body, I found that people were terrified by it, frankly. They found this body quite intimidating. So, in order to make them feel more comfortable, I stuck with my old voice, and that seemed to calm them down quite a bit. Of course, it's a ridiculous voice, and I'm not happy with it. So when I can, I use this voice instead. I think it's much more dignified and befitting my position and rank. Does that make sense?
I can't commiserate with that. I have a golden voice. But I could
course.
kind of understand, and feel bad
Of
for you,
course.
sir.
Would you like me to put you in a similar body to mine?
No, that'll be all right.
I've always wanted to see if I could do it for someone else.
Could you do it for Lumpen? Or does he need a soul?
I don't know. I don't
That
know
would
if...
make Lumpen scary.
Yes. I don't know if I want to be scary.
Yeah, I think we'd prefer you weren't.
Yeah. Although, people wouldn't mess with me. But
No one should mess with you right
they
now.
don't mess with me now because I'm small. Because they don't see me. But, yeah, I don't know.
Now that I can understand.
As long as you have us, no one's going to mess with you.
Mhm.
But I won't have you. I'll be here.
You'll have Mun.
Okay. Yes, Rag, I will make sure that no one hurts you.
His name is Lumpen.
Yes, Lumpen.
Can he speak telepathically to us?
Ooh.
What's a spell? Lumpkin. Would that
Lumpen
be
can't.
or Lumpen?
No, Lumpen can't
Oh,
speak
okay.
telepathically.
he-
He's making noises that somehow come out of him.
Okay.
You don't know where they're coming from.
Okay.
I mean, he's got a little mouth-like thing that moves, but it can't possibly be making the noises.
Okay.
Well, Lumpen, you know we'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll check in to see how your training's going periodically. We're excited to see how you do.
Okay, me too. Oh, you'll all be safe though, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
so. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you need?
Yeah, I want to talk to Mun about observers.
Ah, yes.
So we had a bit of a conversation about this last time, and you made me drink that weird wine.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So where did we leave off with all that?
Well, I thought that you were an observer, yet you are missing your stone.
Yep.
And I also thought you looked familiar, but I couldn't place where I'd seen you before.
So whenever we went to the Great Forest after we last spoke, I was apprehended almost immediately. Folks were calling me by the name Frith.
Really?
Yeah, does that name ring any bells?
Yes, it rings some alarm bells.
I put my hand on my dagger just in case things get sticky.
Should
Did you
I?
Did you ever meet Frith?
I'm almost certain that I did. Granted, I've been alive a very long time, but I believe I did meet you before.
Well,
in fact, yes, I think that makes sense.
So you are confirming from your own memory that I at least look like Frith.
Yes, I believe that is correct. You look like this fellow named Frith. You sound like him too.
Okay, so like I said before, I don't have any memories and everything, so I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not Frith, I'm not saying that I am, but the more I know about Frith, I think the more that would help us getting around, taking precautions.
My understanding of Frith is that he plotted to send observers to their deaths in the Great Forest.
Now, why would he do a thing like that?
I do not know. He was thought to be quite dangerous. I met him when he was much young. Well, he always looked the same, but I met him long ago before all that started, and he seemed like an angry man, but he tried very hard to conceal it. But at the time, he wasn't plotting to kill a large number of people.
Do you know if he was mixed up in any of this Foresight business or the glass breakers or anything like that?
I don't recall anything about that, no. He was very interested in his status as an observer. He was somewhat unusual in that he didn't always try to hide it. Many observers were secretive about their status, whereas Frith was not always like that. It depended on the situation.
So I'm assuming that I am not an observer technically because I don't have that gem in the back of my head.
I think that seems reasonable.
What exactly does an observer get out of that gem? Like, what extra cool superpowers do they get?
I don't think they got any powers. They simply occasionally stopped and meditated or concentrated, and so I heard from some of them they felt like they were delivering a message or delivering information to someone.
Were they sometimes receiving information?
No, I don't think they ever received anything in return.
Did you ever get a name of who they were sending it to?
No.
Because there's no
names.
gods. Who would they be sending
exactly.
information to?
Correct.
I mean, Foresight was a god, though, right?
If Foresight existed, which it seems likely now that he did, people were calling him a god, yes. I mean, it connects with that question I asked you before. Where do your spells come from as a cleric?
I mean, Sigbert told me that locket that's shooting out all the light is pointing towards sources of divine power.
Right, that's what some people call it. Divine or non-arcane magic. We don't know where it comes from.
Well, according to the locket, it must be coming from the bubbles.
That's interesting. from the bubbles.
I mean, I personally don't know where it comes from. It just, as far as I'm concerned, comes out of me, but I suppose that's got to originate somewhere else, right?
That makes sense.
So do you
Wow.
think there's any connection between Foresight as, like, the only god that anyone knew about and the observers praying to some higher power?
Possibly. There was a researcher at the Western Research Facility who was doing research on praying and divine magic. I should probably get in touch with him.
Yeah, you know
Interesting.
if they ever discovered anything worthwhile?
That's what I'd like to get in touch about. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. I don't know. I don't know what to make of all this. This is a lot of information in a very short period of time. I need to think about this.
One final question.
Yes?
Have you ever heard of any observer losing their gemstone and somehow getting it back?
I've never heard an observer losing their gemstone in the first place, so no.
Do you think this person at the Western Research Facility might know something about observer gems?
I don't think that was his speciality, but you could ask him.
Yaromir.
Mm.
Right?
Mhm.
Yaromir.
That guy.
That guy that Athelflaed doesn't like.
Yes.
Oh, the one with the little glass breaker
He's a boat
thing.
thief.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to talk to that guy.
I don't know this gentleman, but he doesn't sound nice.
He will leave you high and dry.
He's the one who stranded Athelflaed on that monastery island.
Mm-hmm. Never
We
saw
told you
my
about that,
family
right?
Again.
I believe at some point.
Yeah. What a jerk.
I have a question for you, Great Mun. So, I was trying to follow the laws of the city, and I put this tattoo on my arm.
Yes, you're not a trained arcane spellcaster. You're untrained. Your spells produce too much heat and waste energy.
Yes, I've been told, though they're incredibly flamboyant. I'm wondering, does the symbol just allow the magistry to know that I am untrained?
Yes, that is
They
its purpose.
They
That's all.
can't track me with it,
No,
can they?
I don't believe it's used for that. It simply allows you to be quickly identified as someone who ought not to be casting spells without special circumstances.
When it runs out of steam, will they know that I am untrained?
They will be able to see that you haven't paid your fee.
Is there any way to get rid of this tattoo?
When you leave the magistracy, you can have it removed. They will, at a port or a customs office, they will remove it.
I see. Good to know. Thank you, Great Mun.
My pleasure. Anything else?
Yeah, one last thing, promise.
Of course.
I dig through my bag and I pull out that giant diamond that I pulled from the first observer station.
Yeah.
And I hand it to him and I say, is there anything, as far as you can tell, special or magical about this?
It's an extremely valuable diamond.
But not magic in any way.
It doesn't respond to a detect magic spell.
Okay.
I would guess this is worth at least 1,000 gold.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Paxton gets dollar signs in his eyes.
Well, he gonna get a second
Yeah.
set of plate armor.
How much does a mansion cost?
I'm
Probably
going to get
more
my
than that.
AC up to 25. All right, well, that's all the questions I had. Thanks, Mun.
Again, it is my pleasure. So does this mean that you're heading back to Arrival, or what's your destination now?
Yeah, I think I should introduce these guys to my family.
And not break the soul jar.
Right.
Wink.
Wait. Oh, wait. Oh. Yeah. Wink.
I messaged to Athelflaed, we're definitely breaking that soul jar.
Oh, yeah. I'm catching on in this game.
Great Mun, can you get rid of this tattoo?
I'm not going to do that.
Great Mun's tattoo removal
If you
service.
really If you really want to get rid of it, I suppose you could find someone who would be willing to cast dispel magic on it. But
Okay.
that's the only thing that I think you'll be fine. It's not a giant problem. Just relax.
Is
You'll
it
be
itchy?
fine. It doesn't itch. No,
No,
Oh.
just glows.
it just glows.
Oh.
If you're very sensitive at night when you're trying to sleep, I suppose it might be a problem.
All right.
Learn a lot, Lumpen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I hope you don't get killed by angry souls.
I think that everything will be okay.
All right. Can I have another hug?
Yeah.
Okay. He gives you another hug.
All right. Give him a hug.
What's the plan then?
Well, it's nighttime, right?
It's getting toward evening now.
And what kind of inns do they have around there?
There's several now actually. Mun says that I'll put you up at the nicest inn in town.
Oh,
I think that you've earned it.
well,
Thank you.
Yes. Get yourselves cleaned up. Relax. You've got quite a journey ahead of you, and who knows what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
What's the name of the inn?
This is I can't think of any funny Mun puns, so we'll just go with
The Muntel 8.
Okay, we'll go with that.
yeah.
It's it's the
Muntel 8.
yes, it's the Muntel 8.
Do we get points for staying here?
Inspiration.
All
Frequent
right.
shopper.
Just imagine how good my puns are going to be after I read that tome of clear thought.
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
Maybe you will clearly perceive that puns aren't all that great.
I
Doubtful.
Ooh, no? Okay.
Doubtful.
Okay, so Tara's gonna do something she's never done before. And that is she's gonna try and read up on magic. Because she wants to know if she can break something while invisible.
Oh.
All
Okay.
right.
Well, if you make an attack on an object, then that would turn you visible.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So I'd have to disguise, break, visible.
Right.
What's around the soul jar guarding it? Is it
You don't
just
know.
like
You haven't been there.
What do I know is
Well,
surrounding
what is-
this?
Tara has been on many a school field trip to the Soul Jar, and she knows that. Oh, I don't know. Did she pay attention? You actually asked me this before, I think.
I
Would
think
I know
so.
stuff? My intelligence
I think
is pretty
I
high.
think you both asked me this before, and I think what we determined was that Tara didn't pay any attention, and that what Aster remembers is that there are guards on the Soul Jar 24/7.
Okay.
Okay.
I relayed that.
How many?
At least 4 or 5. You're not sure exactly, but several guards are always on duty around the Soul Jar. It's an honorable position for distinguished members of the military, and so the people who guard it are competent. They're not
Yeah, what are
nobodies.
they? Are they spellcasters?
See if Aster remembers that. Oh, yes, he does. I don't even need to ask what your history bonus. Well, what is your history bonus?
My history bonus is 4.
4. All right. So you remember that there was a mix of fighters and wizards, and usually there is a cleric on
Oh,
duty
boy.
as well.
Huh.
So they'll be healing them, and it's not going to be easy. I don't think.
All right. I think we're gonna need a distraction and a disguise.
I think
I can do
Aster and I are pretty
all
good
of
at that.
that.
We have our own little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can have a nice distraction and a nice disguise, and I think we can make this work.
Okay.
So we need to get on a boat to arrival then.
Yes, we do.
Ooh,
And
our
how
friends.
many days sailing is it from let's see. Would
Monmouth?
we be leaving from Luton Haven again?
That's right.
All right.
So it is. Let's see. Heading to arrival is relatively short.
Or we can use one of our teleports.
If Sigbert has a shop there.
Why would he
That's
not have a
fine.
shop in Arrival, honestly?
Well, you're from Arrival. You would know if he has a shop there, right?
Well, it seems like I only met him the first time in the
Yep.
Free Cities, so
Yeah.
So does he? Or how would? I guess we wouldn't
Well,
know.
we
don't
were
remember,
in
I
his
guess.
house, weren't we? Did
Yeah.
we see on his clock?
Okay, everyone make an intelligence check. See if you can remember what he had on his list of places.
15.
17.
16.
19.
Okay, so you remember, here are the places that he had on his wall. 1, 2, 3, and 4, all the number cities.
Mm-hmm.
New Tower, Zauberfeld, Menadum.
Where's that?
You haven't been there.
Okay.
Watcherton. You haven't been there either. Aldeport. You haven't been there. And Drongaldoon.
Mm.
So we're going to have to get a ship.
So none of those are places in arrival.
Correct.
'Cause arrival is just arrival.
That's right.
All right.
Well, at
Ziegler
least
is really missing out on some
No.
sales.
Expand his franchise.
Tara, it occurs to you that there are already lots of businesses selling magic there, and that maybe there's too much competition.
I don't know. We like that kind of flash.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can convince him to open a location there.
Yeah, well, I'll talk to him next time.
It is the evening of the 23rd.
I'm going to talk to him about franchising. I guess it's not really a franchise because it's all him.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. It's all right. So the next morning, you go to rest in the inn. Everything works fine. You sleep well. It's very comfortable.
Can I start reading the book?
And sure, you can start reading the book.
We're going to have a lot of time whenever we
Yep.
travel from one to another, so I think
Yep.
we're going to get our 48 hours, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it takes a few days to get to Lutenhaven, and then a few more days, just 2 or 3 days to get to arrival because the wind's blowing in the right direction. Let's fast forward a bit. So that's your plan then, to get to arrival?
Yeah, I think I will take Aster's turn driving the cart
Okay.
so that he can read his book to completion, and then whenever he's done reading his book, I'm assuming you'll do the same for me.
Exactly.
Okay.
100%.
Are Bud and Bart going to be able to come with us on the ship?
Oh, no.
yeah.
They won't be as useful in arrival, but yes, you can take them if you want to.
Well, do you guys
Arrival.
want to stable them or take them? Might be kind of hard to leave with them if we're leaving in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
It seems
Might
like
put 'em in
wherever
danger.
we... Yeah, we'll at least know where to go back to get them, though,
Yeah.
if we stable them wherever we go.
Yeah.
Unless they turn them into glue if no one claims them in a few days.
Oh, no.
Let's leave them in Lutenhaven.
Okay.
Because I feel like the Magiciancy is always going to be a safe place for us to go, ironically, even though we were super suspicious of them.
Mm-hmm.
We've always found them to be quite helpful.
Well, if we could get them to arrival, your family's there, right? And I'm assuming they have stables.
Yes.
They definitely have stables.
Yeah.
All right.
But, well, yeah, I mean, I'm planning to do this so that if it goes terribly, my family doesn't know that I did it because I don't want to shame them like that. I'm very worried. But, they should be able to hold on to some horses for us.
When someone transforms or two people transform into an Etten, do they have any resemblance of their body?
Basically, no. They're
Okay.
unrecognizable.
Okay.
And how common is the sight of an Etten stomping around in the middle of arrival?
Unheard of.
Cool.
So it would
Ettins are
serve
near-
as a good disguise or a good distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ettins are near mythical. They basically were driven to extinction pretty early on in the history of the world. They're near mythical. You sleep in Munville that evening. The 24th, you get on the road and arrive in Zauberfeld on the 25th. And then you make pretty quick time heading back on that road to Lutenhaven, arriving in Lutenhaven on the 2nd of 9th month. So it's getting pretty late in the year now.
So is it getting really cold?
It's getting much cooler. Yeah, the
Okay.
crops have pretty much been harvested, and it's getting cooler. Although, again, you're getting closer to the middle of the world where it's warmer.
And I'm plus 2 intelligence, and Aster is plus 2
Plus
charisma.
Yeah,
Okay.
You've spent several days traveling now. Since leaving Munville, you spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days traveling. That's plenty of time to get in your 48 hours of reading. So if you want to increase those abilities by 2, you can do that.
I found a book in the equipment called the Tome of Leadership and Influence.
That's what it is.
Okay.
Once you read it, it can't be read again for another 100 years.
Oh, what?
Wait, what's this Tome of Leadership and Influence is just the official name for the how to meet
How to win
humanoids?
allies and influence humanoids. Yes.
So they're the same thing.
They're the same thing.
Okay.
You arrive in Luton Haven on the 2nd of 9th month. The town is even busier than it was when you left, and there is a large army camped outside here. And when you get to the port, there are in fact several warships here, and they're being loaded up with troops.
We need to talk around and see if we can find a ship that will take us passage to arrival.
All right, so you can talk to the harbor master. The harbor master will tell you that there are a bunch of ships heading to arrival. In fact, most of these warships are going with troops that are going to reinforce arrival. They've been volunteered to submit to the command of the military in arrival, and they'll help defend the island.
All right, can we also go to arrival?
The harbor master says, well, I don't know that a military ship will take just anybody on, but I suppose you could just ask. That's worth a try.
Okay. Anyone you think is particularly nice?
I hear that Captain Blomber over at that ship farthest to the north, I hear he's kind of corrupt. You could probably pay him.
Oh, I wasn't going for corrupt. I was going for nice.
Well,
Nice.
a corrupt person is nice as long as you pay him enough.
Can we go with nice?
Can
we go with
nice is well,
persuadable?
not nice is not the primary characteristic of these, military types. That's not what they're going for. If you're interested in just a civilian ship, then maybe you can hire one of these fishing boats out.
Okay, well, that works. Thank you.
Are our jelly fishing friends still there?
No, they're not.
Okay. It's too
They've
bad.
set to sea already. All right, so you're going to try to persuade a boat captain.
Yes.
All right.
You probably don't want me to do
We also need room for horses and a cart, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need a pretty big boat.
Yeah, but a warship would probably have horses, right?
Right. Yes, they were already carrying horses. Yeah, so most of these fishing boats are not going to be big enough to take you and your horses.
We got some persuasive fellows, though, so...
Well,
Yeah,
you
there
can
you go.
walk up to one of these military ships, avoiding the corrupt captain.
Okay, I'm looking for the lightest-looking boat.
The
One
lightest
that
looking boat.
By lightest, I mean could fit more people and also some horses.
All right, you pick a boat, and you walk up the dock, and there's a guard at the end of the gangplank.
And he says, "Halt! What are you doing?"
I'm from Arrival, and
Uh-huh.
I'm looking to get back there
Yeah.
with my friends.
Uh-huh. This is a military ship.
Me too.
Yeah, but I would like to, come along with you to go back to Arrival. As you can see, I put my hand on my hilt. I'm a fighter too, and I want to protect my home. And I'm flashing my ring.
Okay, I'll get the captain. Hang on.
Thanks.
He walks up the plank,
That was really good.
Yeah.
and he comes back a moment later and takes his position, and behind him is an older gentleman with an impressive mustache, a big curly mustache. And he says, "Yes, what you want to ride on my ship, do you?"
I do.
"I'm afraid, lass, this is a military ship. We don't just take passengers. You understand how it is."
Oh, but here's the thing. I'm from Arrival, and you guys are going to reinforce Arrival, but I'm a fighter from Arrival, and so are all of my friends.
Are you volunteering for military service, ma'am?
No, I'm volunteering to go back to my homeland.
I feel like I'm not making myself clear here. This is a military ship, not a transport, and we don't take civilian passengers unless there's some special reason.
Isn't the circumstances of the world the special reason?
You're gonna have to make a good persuasion check here.
Uh-huh. That's a nat 20 plus 7.
Wow. I suppose you're right. These are difficult times. All right then. How many have you got?
I point, like the circle motion to the four of us, and also point to the horses.
All right, the horses are back behind you off the
Yeah.
dock. 2 horses, a cart, and 4 people.
Yes.
But we can just stay in the cart, so really it's just like 2 horses and a cart space-wise.
Uh-huh.
You're going to stay on the cart for 3 days.
Unless we can help swab the deck or something like that
Oh, yes, you'll be working like
Yeah.
the rest of the crew, of course. So I suppose we could make this work. I think it would be reasonable to ask you to pay the crew for the extra work, or else you'll have to work your way across on the journey. You'll be eating a share of the ship's rations, and I think it's reasonable to ask you to pay something unless you're going to work the whole time.
I do have my own rations, and I believe my friends do too, so...
And I'm more than willing to work. I think we all probably are.
All right, then, I suppose that this will work. Climb on board. I'm not sure about the cart.
Wait, how much is it to not work?
Well, I don't know. I suppose 5 gold.
I pay 5 gold.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then you don't have to work. The rest of you, I'll put you in touch with the first mate, and he'll give you instructions. But first, go ahead and get your horses down in the hold, and the cart. I suppose you really have to take the cart. Couldn't you leave the cart here?
Well, do you guys need a cart to load the ship with weapons and other such? Because you could use
We have
it.
our own. We'll take the cart. All right, we'll take the cart. Just get on board and report to the first mate for duty, and we'll get underway. My name is Captain Doniger, and I'll expect you to refer to me as Captain.
It was nice to meet you, Captain, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope I don't regret this.
You could never.
Right.
Yeah, you definitely probably won't.
All right. Let's board the ship.
Again.
Yay!